Hey guys, welcome back to another Tips and Tricks with Starscape, playing Planet Coaster. What we're going to be discussing today, guys, is really knowing our market, really getting involved, doing a deep dive into guest happiness. So this is going to kind of be guest happiness plus knowing our market. So where we're going to start is go to Park Management. And if you're in the Overview tab, go to Guest, and you're going to see this tab right here. So adults, teen groups, and family groups. Again, we discussed this last time, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail this time. Okay, guys, and we're going to take this one group at a time. Let's start with our adult group, which makes up 32% of our current park of 500 guests. On average, they're spending $1.02 on rides, $1.04 on gifts, $5.76 on food, $8.34 on beverages, and using the ATM for $7.30. They're spending an average of $67.35 each in our park and staying for about 32 minutes. If we take a look at our teen groups, they are 26% of our park guests for about 402. They're spending $1.05 on rides, 56 cents at our gift shops, $5.60 on food, $7.03 on drinks, and using the ATM quite a bit more for $8.41. They're spending $65.33 and an average of about 30 minutes in the park. Our next group is family groups. It's comprised of about 42% or 640 guests, spending $1.57 on rides, $1.33 on gifts, $5.63 on food, $7.52 on drinks, or getting about $1.78 out of the ATM. Average total spent for this group is $54.72, and they're staying in the park an average of 33 minutes. If you take a look down here at these green bars, the toilet is at 81%. That's pretty good. Nausea is at 99%, and that's also very good. Some of your hardest groups to take care of are going to be your teens, and they're still hungry at 76% and thirsty at 70%. Happiness for your adults is at 76% and energy also at 76% for the adults. Now, if you click right here on this tab, guys, you can actually see your guests' thoughts. So this is one place where we can really dive deep and see what our guests are thinking, and anything that is in the red or pink color are areas where we can really improve. So let's start at the top left hand side, and the queue for Free Flyer was full. So let's run down here and take a look. And of course, Free Flyer is right here. And of course, its queue is very full right now. Now we can solve this by two different ways. The first way is going to be changing our price. We're not going to do that right now. The second way is adjusting our load. So if we have a full load with no minimum and no maximum time, that's another way. One additional thing that they will complain about, and we can go ahead and fix right now, so we close our ride, go into paths, and remember when we set these up, we just did a quick path. So we're going to come in, we're actually going to do a bit better of a path for them. Go into queue, and we can make the queue for the ride a bit longer. We'll open the ride again. Press play, the ride opens, and we should stop seeing that message. Of course, there again, our rides are only 50 cents. Therefore, a lot of guests are going to be riding our rides. But let's, for the time being, leave this running. Go back into park management. 19% think the park is great. 16% think priority passes are for suckers. I agree with that. We're charging for priority passes. Nobody's buying them. But at the same time, we don't have any priority passes. Now, guys, if you take a look at this right here, this 11%, I'm not paying this much for Free Flyer. One, I spent loads on park entry. This is what I was talking about on the park entry section of this tutorial. Guests are less likely to spend money on rides of increasing costs when your park entrance is so high. For example, I believe we currently have ours set at $50 and $25. So guests are less likely to want to spend as much money on the rides. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to change that. We're just looking at everything else here. Now that's a good one we can look at right there. This one right here, 19%. I want to do something fun, but I don't want to shop at Hats Fantastic right now. So one thing we could potentially look at is opening a second or even third location for shops and facilities. If we go into shops and facilities under custom and under gift shops, you can see Hat's Fantastic, Just a Memento, and Looney Balloons. Considering we already have 2 of those 3, I'm just going to purchase for now the Just a Memento and place it out this way just a bit and have it sing to us, of course. Go ahead and open that up, and we're not going to change the price on this one just yet. One thing that we can take a look at doing, guys, is we can actually come over here, and as far as these are concerned, we can close this. There's no sense in attempting to charge for this. We'll just close this, and perhaps we'll stop getting the alert. He can run off and do something else. As you can see, the queue for this is now much longer, and guests are not complaining about that as much. We'll go back into our management tab and pause it right here. You see that 19% think our park is great, and there is pretty much one whole side of it that is in the green. We have a couple of times that people want to do something fun, but they don't want to shop at Looney Balloons or Fantastic Hats. That's why we now have the Just a Memento out here. I'm not paying that much for aeronauts. I'm not worried about that. And if you have your ride set at 50 cents, don't worry about that either. I'm not paying that much for teacups, free flyer. 10% now say that they're not going to queue that long for free flyer. They're not angry about that. They're just kind of in the middle about that. So we'll continue to wait. I never expect to see everything in my park turn green. If I have the vast majority of guests happy, I'm happy. But I never expect to see all of them be green. One thing that we can take a look at changing would be the queue for Bump and Derby. Of course, it's full. I think its queue is super short. We can simply close the ride. Go into Advanced Move and Edit and just slide it back a bit. Place it right about there. Put the exit path back and reconnect it. Back up and reopen the ride. And I recommend, guys, just keep going back to it and just looking. You can see it's going to be constantly changing. You're going to see constant new things pop up that you can very easily take care of. Extending a path here or there, pushing a rod back, giving it a little bit longer of a queue. Sometimes guests are not willing to queue as long. I will cover how you deal with that in a later video. I'm not paying that much. I'll deal with that in a later video. Not much scenery. We can deal with that in a different video. But guys, this is really what it takes to do a deep dive into each and every one of your locations. As you can see, we are only charging 50 cents for the rides and the profit for each of the rides. We're not making anything on the rides at all. You can see your customer count for the previous month. And as you can see, very little of it is actually bright red now. It's turning mostly green, guys. So as far as keeping your guests happy, guys, that's really all there is to it. Going from here to looking at your guest summary, figuring out what they need. Teen groups are still thirsty, as easy to deal with. You know that you can put down, very easy to put down drink shops. I just want to see if there's any out this way that are empty. And there wasn't, but it doesn't hurt to put down another Cosmic Cow milkshake out this way, guys. And if I remember correctly, those prices need to be increased by quite a bit. And you can see that people are already flocking, just lining up, guys. As soon as it hit, they were already lining up. So you can tell that that is probably what they wanted, guys. They're going to be a bit more happy. Go ahead and change all of this. And guys, don't expect these numbers to change immediately. One thing that will tell you a lot is looking at your happiness, energy, hunger, thirst, nausea, and toilet needs. That will tell you a lot, guys. But something else that a lot of people won't tell you about that tells you a ton is right here, guys. average total spent in your park. That went up a lot, guys. We're now up to $74.51 for adult groups, and they're spending an average time of 46 minutes in our park. So they're spending more time and they're spending more money. The same with our teen groups, guys. They're spending an average of $71.63 and 43 minutes in the park. Our family groups have increased to $66.17, spending almost an hour in the park at 51 minutes, guys. So that will tell you a lot as well. This information down here is great to have, but when you really dive into these numbers and take a look, guys, you see where you are and where you can make more money. Obviously, we know that we can make more money if we increase our ride prices, and we're going to be doing that very, very soon, guys. But take a look at this. Our average gift shop spend was minimal before we started today. If we look back at the beginning, it was next to nothing. And now family groups are spending almost $7. Teens are spending almost $4, while adults are spending almost $5, guys. They're taking more money out of the ATMs, which means that we are increasing guest happiness and we are doing a better job. And just because I believe that you can never have too many locations in your park for water, I like a lot of Pip Shop water locations. And guests love it. It is cheap and I make a really good money on them. And as soon as it hit, they are lining up, guys. Okay, guys, I just wanted to let it run for a minute so you guys could kind of see. I did end up taking Hyperspin. Hyperspin, I ended up putting it down to $0 just because I got tired of seeing the messages. And I mean, the difference between 50 cents a rider and $0 a rider, it doesn't matter to me. But today wasn't really about making money. What today is more about is paying attention to what your guests are saying, paying attention to what your guests are wanting and needing, because as you can see down here in the bottom, our prestige, our guest happiness has gone up 12%, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's increased our park rating up to 1025. So if you remember from the first episode that we did with this, our park rating was pretty low and we wasn't getting any type of boost from guest happiness. We were actually losing on guest happiness, I think by 18%, if memory serves. And now we're getting a 12% boost. And if you want to kind of know how you guys are doing overall on guest happiness, on everything, guys, one thing you can do is go into your overview, go down to ticket prices, and look right here at leaving guest thoughts. This is going to be a big one. 71% of people said this park was amazing. I don't want to leave. 4% security of the park is great. Even though I was pickpocketed, they managed to catch them and reclaim the whole amount of money taken from me. 24%, there's good and bad things about the park overall. Average. And one had a bad time, I'm getting a refund. Don't let that 1% bother you. But guys, that is one thing that is very important about when you're building these parks, is to make sure that your guest happiness is up. If your guest happiness is up, if your guests are well taken care of, they're going to spend longer in your park. They're going to spend more money in your park. They're going to be less apt to complain about the price of rides being high or the price of change the teacups to $0 just to get people going on it again. They're going to be less concerned about complaining about the price of tickets being high to get into the park. They're going to be less concerned with how long it takes to queue, which we're going to be dealing with here very soon. And guest happiness is a big one. I feel like people don't put enough emphasis on really knowing your market, really knowing your guests, really knowing what it takes to succeed. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for this one. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Thanks so much for watching.